Okay, ladies and gentlemen, all 36 of you are very, very excited to watch this highly interactive game of Magic we are about to see. We have Michael Day on Black Red Reanimator against Gray Elman on Elves. Jim, what are your overall opinions on this matchup?
So, game one should be heavily favored for the Black Red Reanimator player. There really isn't anything that the Elf player can do in game one, short of Michael keeping a bad hand, and them allowing or Gray being allowed to establish a board state that involves a Scavenging Ooze. There really isn't anything that he can do in game one. Game two is a very different story. Gray does have 4 copies of Leyline of the Void in his 75, so those will be coming in, and we should see some very aggressive mulliganing from both players, games 2 and 3. Michael is running Wear Tears, which is his answer to the Leyline. He's got 3 of them, so that's something that we'll have to look through game 2 for, but I do imagine that game 1 should be over fairly quickly. Gray is on the play for game 1 because he was the higher seed going into top 8. So
1 second, they don't know yet. They're still checking.
It was.
He just said 1 second.
Shuffling up here, getting ready for game 1.
Michael is on the play.
Oh, actually, Michael is on the play. We got the information a little bit wrong. Sorry about that. Black Red Reanimator getting the play. Game 1 is even better for the Black Red Reanimator player. And game 1 is underway. So, standard Black Red Reanimator hand. It looks like we have land, Lotus Petal, Faithless Looting, and a Grizzlebrand. So, Grizzlebrand is coming into play on turn 1. Faithless Looting. Draw 2, discard 2. Grizzlebrand hitting the yard. Bloodstained Mire hitting the yard. And Lotus Petal.
A little tight.
Sack, and we have
back. Here it is.
A Dark Ritual for 3 mana, and it does look like Reanimator on turn 1 is putting a Grizzlebrand into play. Hooray!
2 mana left.
We have done it.
Very fun interactive Magic.
Yep. Let's see, we're drawing 7 cards.
Does he have the follow-up here? He should. Does he have another fatty? He's tanking, he's thinking, he's pondering. He has another Dark Ritual at least. He has Cabal Therapy on himself.
I wonder what card we've named Natural Order. Okay. Yeah. Yep, that is the card that can kill him.
Fastest. I mean, there's a glimpse. There is the Green Sun Zenith. So he will, in fact, have to do other things. Gray might be able to race this.
I mean, I don't think that that's true. Grizzlebrand is going to attack for 7 next turn.
Yeah. Elves has turn 3 hands. think this is very much raceable. It's just one Grizzlebrand. It's really gonna be the second one that's the problem. I mean, Gray has a glimpse. He has a Nettle Sentinel. And he has a Manadork.
Yeah, it looks like a Llanowar.
I mean, if you're gonna race, this is about as much as you can hope for. He would need to see. What's it gonna be? He'd probably need to see another Sentinel. He'd probably need to see a Heritage Druid.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do think that, I think Michael's going to draw another 7 cards here, go down to 6, and I think that that's going to spell death sentence for the Elves player, because I think that no matter what he does, his hand's just going to get shredded.
Well, strangely enough, he only has to get one Colossus into play. I mean, I don't see the...
He drew another Cabal Therapy, so...
But he's not flashing back Cabal Therapy. It's like, this isn't like a super aggressive... He needs another creature. Oh, he has the creature. He has Entomb. But he doesn't know that he can't reanimate.
He has Exhume in his hand, and he has a Dark Ritual.
And he has a Dark Ritual.
It's the third Grizzlebrand going into the yard. Chancellor of the Annex.
Chancellor of the Annex would be big.
No, he's got Iona.
Does he have the Iona?
I think that was Chancellor of the Annex.
Like, that's a Chancellor of the Annex.
But he has Entomb.
Yeah.
Are we all casting?
Yep, we're all casting. Casting by group. Just speak up in the back.
Sometimes I make the correct call.
Let's see. How much mana are we getting? Looks like 3 Dark Rituals.
1 Dark Ritual.
Exhume. Yep, there's the Chancellor and Concession.
The Chancellor's probably it. Yeah, the first creature I don't think was the problem. The second creature was a lot more of a big deal.
Yeah.
Let me update this. We've just had 3.5 minutes of fun interactive Magic.
Skill based.
And the skill is we all should have played it. I think that's the issue.
All right. So what do we see from Michael out of his sideboard? We know that Gray is going to be leaning on the Leyline of the Voids. Michael has Iona, Shield of Emeria, which is probably coming in. Wear and Tear, probably most likely coming in. 2 Massacres come in. I don't think that you see the Magus of the Moon or the Archetype of Endurance. That's probably it. I think you just probably take out the Iona and put in the Iona and take out the Tidespout Tyrant. I don't think that the Tidespout Tyrant's necessarily as relevant in this matchup. Chancellor of the Annex is really good. You probably keep those in. Everything else looks to be fine. You probably trim down on a card like Cabal Therapy. Probably you trim those. Those don't necessarily do what you need them to do in games 2.
Yeah, Chancellor of the Annex pretty much effectively shuts down most of the things Gray wants to do. But the issue here is it's going to be Leyline versus Wear Tear.
Yep. Who has it?
Does Gray have the Leyline? Does Michael have the Wear Tear for said Leyline? That's going to be...
The thing is, and here's the one caveat to the Leyline.
Highlight was Gray beating the blue double play.
It's Gray's supposed to be the blue double player.
Yeah, but it was too high.
Yeah, well, it was fine, but
It's like the brainstorm is to force him into the...
That was the greediest thing I've ever seen.
The brainstorm to force him?
Yeah.
Did he have force blue quite a
He had
bit?
forced brainstorm.
We're
they started?
we're streaming. We're live, guys.
Super official. 36 viewers don't want to be bothered with side conversations.
We see Wear Tear's in his deck.
Yep. I saw Iona flash past.
So do you think Gray brought in the Leyline on the board?
I don't know why. Because I haven't paid enough to use my card yet.
I have a tab going.
You have a tab? Never mind. Jim's gonna take my tab.
I mean, Massacre's a real card. But isn't the clause on Massacre Swamp and Plains?
It's Swamp and a Plains, but the thing is that like you're also looking at a Dark Ritual deck. So 2 mana or 1 mana Lotus Petal plus a Dark Ritual equals Massacre. It just depends on how heavy Gray leans in, because you have to imagine that Gray is going to be mulliganing into Leyline, because that's the only card that's really relevant in this matchup. So
He could Dirtle, and Michael could hardcast the
Dirtle, yeah,
Massacre.
Exactly.
I don't think I'd bring the Massacre in.
I think I do.
I'll be honest. I think the only thing that matters is Wear Tear versus Leyline of the Void. I think that's the only thing that actually means anything. Unfortunately, that's just how much better Michael Day's strategy is over Gray Almonds.
Yep. The inherent power of the unfair graveyard decks.
Demand hate such as Leyline of the Void and Rest in Peace in certain situations. And because people are neglecting hate like that is why you see decks like Red Black Reanimator in the finals of a tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to take a look at this room preemptively and say, these 42 players, what are they going to be playing? Like, if you didn't guess Blue-Red Delver, you were wrong. If you didn't guess Goblins, you were probably wrong. We had like 3, I think we had 4 Goblin players in the room today. That's 10% of the meta. That's a huge percentage in terms of a 40-person tournament.
We also had Elves and Wizards, both soft to graveyard strategies.
Soft to graveyard strategies.
There was 2 lands decks, or lands-ish decks, soft to graveyard strategies.
Okay, let's see. We have a hand from Michael Day that does not have a Wear and Tear in it, and it does look like Gray has mulligan to 6.
Gray is looking for it. How low do you mulligan if you're Gray? Or do you just mulligan down until the game's over and say good game?
Yeah, I just don't think you have any business playing Magic if you don't have a Leyline of the Void in your hand.
He's keeping, so there's got to be Leyline. Maybe that last card. There it is.
There it is.
Now you can play.
Michael had to know it was there. Michael looks at his card. 0 Wear Tears in his hand.
It's right there.
Aggressively looking.
So we're going to unmask and we're going to pitch an Animate Dead.
And that's what we were talking about, where he mulligans for the Leyline. He essentially mulligans to 5 just to see Michael Day not play the game. His hand does not do much of anything.
Like, the Craterhoof Behemoth is a mulligan. The Green Sun Zenith, I'm fairly certain that the Green Sun Zenith's about to get taken here by this unmask.
Yes.
And then he'll probably follow it up with a Cabal Therapy and take the Heritage Druid.
Yes.
Yep. So
Gray's hand is essentially empty.
Yep.
And we're back down to Leyline versus Wear and Tear.
Okay, we drew a Nettle Sentinel, so it's not...
It's a clock.
It's a clock, yeah. We're presenting 3 damage. But here's the thing. Nettle Sentinel is one of the worst answers. Even though it is a 2/2, he has to continue to chain spells for it to be a continuous attacker. So that's something that is going to hinder Gray. If he doesn't draw gas for the rest of the game, his answers are not going to do what they need to do.
I mean, I don't think he's going to have a problem drawing grass. Michael just needs to make land drops and...
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, it just looks like there was a separation of the graveyard when it should be all exile. Leyline of the Void.
Got that fixed.
We have an Iona. And a nothing. I mean, I don't think Gray will have too much of a problem keeping this Nettle Sentinel attacking.
Oh, wow. There's Scavenging Ooze.
That's a problem. That's a bigger problem. So Michael Day has very little to do here outside of hard casting a Grizzleband.
Forgot it's untapped.
No, he didn't. He had that.
He used the scavenger to attack. He cast it to untap.
Yeah.
He cast scavenger to untap the thing and then attack.
And Michael Day's time here in game 2 is quickly ending. Still no wear tear. It might have been a bit naive to not mulligan at least a 6 looking for the wear tear.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think like you have to understand like the dynamics of this match. It is wear and tear versus Leyline of the Void. There's no in between. So if you see your opponent keep a hand, you have to imagine that they have their card. Like, why would you not do the same in turn?
Yeah.
Like I just don't like for how powerful Michael Day's strategy is compared to how hinged Gray getting to play Magic is on the ley line. I think that you have to just assume that he's not keeping hand without it and play accordingly.
Well, and Gray mulligan to 6.
Yes.
So I think when Gray mulligans,
Game 3.
game 3, Leyline wins.
Last game of the tournament.
Production win the top. Or not? Production already won. The Maverick deck. We have
Two Maverick
two
decks.
Mavericks.
And then this.
Oh, it was
It wasn't 2 Maverick. It was Maverick.
Maverick and
No, it was
4-color loam.
Jesse Adams Trash, 4-color loam, and now this.
Yeah.
Jesse Adams Trash doesn't count as any
This is the
specific.
third one.
Yeah.
Did it 4 or 5?
Could have been Goblins.
I'll win the
Goblins
next
could
one.
have won
Oh, definitely.
this. Whatever, with Jim Trash.
That's just a bunch of brainstorms and ponders.
Yeah, you're going to get Dredge, and then you're going to have that repeat.
Okay, so the winner of this game
That when I was streaming.
will get an automatic berth into the Arizona Eternal Magic Masters, which is at the end of the year. This is a 7-tournament series around Arizona, mostly around Phoenix. There is a tournament and a qualifier down in Tucson.
Yeah, the next Pro Tour, no, not Pro Tour, preliminary trial is the 15th of June, which is going to be at Amazing Discoveries, Gilbert.
Yes. Truth.
Truth.
Thanks, guys. That's good.
This is the most interesting portion of the game,
The mulligan phase.
the mulligan phase.
It's an extra pile shuffling for Michael
How
Day.
low can Red Black Reanimator go?
4 cards.
I'd go to 3 looking for a wear tear. You just don't play the game. Like, he literally just doesn't play the game. If
What about Elves? How low can Elves go? For the ley line.
1, I'd go to 1.
Go to 1 looking for it?
Yeah.
If you don't have it, you lose.
I don't know. If he goes to 4,
I mean, if they're both mulliganing together, it gets sketchy. But if Michael Day keeps and Gray doesn't have a ley line in his hand,
whose choice to mulligan first?
Michael's on the play.
Michael's on
so
the play.
He resolves his mulligan first.
Provided they're doing that.
There's a wear
there's a
tear.
wear tear.
Does he have
I don't
lands?
think he has lands.
Would you keep
I think
That's
it's
fine.
he has a Lotus Petal.
That's fine. I would keep without lands. I would snap keep this.
Worst case, you draw into this card. 2 turns.
I see a Lotus Petal in his hand, so
He's got a temporary mana source. He only has 3.
we're going to
There you go.
5.
This is the problem with Leyline of the Void and a strategy this unbalanced.
How many does he have?
He has 4 in his sideboard,
That's a
so
pretty good chance.
I mean, there's a pretty good chance, but
5 looking for it.
Yeah, well, he kept 5.
Could have gone before, man.
I can't look.
we're going to 4.
Gray is now officially all in on this, and he has to be.
He did a good job identifying that that's what he needs to do.
Yes, I mean it's a good job for both of them to say this is what I have to do. I really would have liked Michael Day to mulligan at least once or twice last game, looking for the wear tear. As we've said this entire time, it is.
We're going to 3 cards.
Yeah, Gray's just gonna.
This is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but that's.
Oh man, we hit a milestone for the day. 56
56
viewers.
viewers
To see if he gets the play line.
To see if he gets the ley line.
People love watching people resolve mulligans. 3.
Down to 2.
If he
So
moves to
th-
1, do you think he'll get creative?
This is,
Would you mold his
one of the arguments for the
London
Mulligan. So Gray would still have a chance to mulligan to 7 to find the card he's looking for, the ley line, to keep the match interactive.
He's going to 1.
He needs to just flip it off the top, right? Like,
Yeah. That's what a gentleman would do.
as we're all sitting here watching it.
Flip it. Flip it.
Flip it!
Oh.
Mulligan to 0.
That was probably a ley line. Lotus Petal, Faithless Looting, looking for lands. Gets none of them, though.
If he can just somehow
I mean, in this scenario, if he kept like a solid hand, then it would have been a pretty good spot, right?
Yeah. I mean,
That's where it's like, it's still correct to mulligan, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it is. Because he literally just goes...
No, for Gray.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to also think he's playing like a 13 land deck or less.
Rolling to 1 and getting a land, though, is pretty nice.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
Halfway there.
We're still gonna have a game of Magic here, folks. It's gonna be sloppy.
If he gets another land, it's
And if Gray wins this, though,
If he gets another land, it's
Oh, we have a threat. We have a threat. Oh, there we go.
That's a big deal.
But there's no threat in the yard of the
pitched
Reanimator
Oh, I
player.
guess he pitched
He has
the
an entomb.
Reanimator.
Was that a? Oh, he
He has,
has.
he has
He
an
can
entomb.
hard
Okay.
if he gets scammed,
Scavenging Ooze off the top.
well, he's a land though.
No, he has a Bayou in
He has
hand.
a Bayou in hand.
We know he has a Bayou in hand.
That'd be so sweet if he's got to use it off the top.
Tax.
That was
The clock is on.
So he has the Reanimate. He does not have the Reanimate. He has the Exhume and he has the Entomb in his hand. He has the Entomb and the Exhume in his hand.
So we still need another land.
Scavenging Ooze is now...
He's staying his deck for that, though.
Scavenging Ooze is now the most real card.
He's got a cradle in his hand. The mana is gonna flow.
Scavenging Ooze is a very real draw. He runs one of them.
Yeah, just one.
I think he can green sun for it. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's going to be it.
and that will lock it up.
Iona
Iona Green.
on green.
Pulls the trigger. Doesn't even matter. I mean, he can check his hand if he wants, but
He's going to, out of respect.
And there's it is. That's going to do it here, folks. Snapcaster Gaming and Espresso. Michael Day on Red Black Reanimator is your champion for the day. He will be joining the... Who do we got? Christian Castro and Jesse Adams as the third member of our Masters tournament at the end of the year. And what a day. What a day.
Good day for the Magic. Thank you guys very much. This is Team Anthony and Jim, and thanks for watching.